Hello everyone, welcome to the Casual Ship. Today we'll be reviewing one of the most controversial arcs in all of One Piece, Long Ring Long Land. Thank you so much for joining us as always. As a young, fresh little YouTube baby boy, seeing my community of weebs, comic book nerds, and like 7 Overwatch fans grow is really exciting. In thinking about how I've watched anime YouTubers in the past that have inspired me, I could imagine that if you're one of my One Piece fans, this is an arc that you've probably been really excited for me to get to. Probably more excited than anything in your life. But what a lot of people are going to be looking for with this review is not what I'm going to be giving you. Long Ring Long Land is one of the most maligned, hated, and flat out skipped arcs in all of One Piece. And you may have guessed already, but I kinda liked it. Okay, this is where I am throwing in the towel, guys. I think I've said this before, but I will never ever be able to look at this absolute masterpiece objectively ever again. Eiichiro Oda has converted me away from Christ and into his most loyal soldier. When even one of my personal Mount Rushmores of why I do YouTube, Mother's Basement, ranked it as one of the worst real arcs, and he already likes it more than most people.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
But that is why I organize One Piece arcs into 3 categories for myself. Great, perfect, and actual scripture. So let's get into this great arc and some of the things that suck about it.
How'd this happen? The path is gone!
How in the hell can anyone get lost on a path like this one? You can see the old man at the end of it! Even your sense of direction can't be that bad!
Now, One Piece is obviously one of the best action anime of all time. This is also a good time to mention that I watched the anime in the English dub. I'll give you time to let me know that I'm not a real fan down in the comments before you go. Yes, One Piece is one of the best action-adventure anime of all time. But I think a lot of people forget about the third part of One Piece's holy trinity. Man, I've had a lot more religious imagery than usual this time. One Piece is an action-adventure comedy series, and frankly, if we're putting it in order of importance, it's really an adventure, comedy, and then action series. The action is obviously not just important. One Piece has some of the most emotionally engaging fights in the genre, but the action still takes way more of a backseat than people may realize. Besides Luffy's big multi-episode punch-up at the end of most arcs, usually the crew is trying to figure out how to get just that next step closer to the One Piece, their adventure. And I don't think I need an example for how funny this series is. But we gotta treat ourselves sometimes.
Huh? Oh my.
What is it?
Another very sexy lady with super big bazongas. Are you free tonight?
You watch your mouth, you lanky jerk! Hey, focus, pay attention!
And while this arc sure does have its problems, I'm reminded of something the philosopher Homer said. Don't go to the circus and cry when you see the clown. But let's start the Davy backfight with Monkey D. Luffy and his Straw Hat crew. First off, the show looks incredible. Long Ring Long Land aired after a very brief hiatus in the anime's airing, but man, they juice this shit. This must have been like the Mappa of 2004. Long Ring Long Land ushers in a new high-def widescreen gorgeous presentation for the series. The more vibrant colors only do more to emphasize Oda's art style, especially in as cartoony an arc as this one. And speaking of cartoony, let's start with the Gum Gum guy himself. This arc will truly make or break your love of Luffy. They could never make me hate you. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Luffy here isn't exactly the smartest guy in the world. He's kind of a dum-dum guy.
Dum-dum,
Yes?
you give me gum-gum.
I give you gum-gum?
And nowhere has Luffy's intelligence been more tested than on the shores of Long Ring Long Land. In maybe too perfect a way, a group of islands so boring that even the animals change into Dr. Seuss drawings just to try and do something. And there's no better time to introduce us to the game the ruthless pirates of the Grand Line play to pass the time than now. The Davy Backfight. a 3-round game between pirate crews in honor of the late Davy Jones, R.I.P. Where after each round a crewmate from the losing team is selected by the winners, never to ever rejoin their previous crew ever. What, you think I'm lying to you? They can never join the crew again. And obviously, each Straw Hat joins the crew for not only their specific skill, but to work alongside their crew to achieve their dreams. Being a Straw Hat is a deeply emotional connection. Our opposing crew, Silver Fox Foxy and his Foxy Pirates, are a giant conglomerate of random pirates, forced to join the crew by rules of Davy Backfight. So obviously there's no real advantage for Luffy to agree to a Davy Backfight for the Straw Hats. So obviously he does. And loses Chopper. And then he agrees to another one. This doesn't even deserve a boom. This pissed me off so much. Now, the most infamous aspect of Long Ring Longland, in the anime at least, is the filler. And if you're a longtime fan of my channel, you may know I have a funny relationship with filler. Ahaha. Ha 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 ha. But I've got straight up drama with this one. It's toxic. So I only watched some of the filler in this arc, and this might let you know how I felt about it, but I didn't even think it was filler. In the manga, there are 3 rounds and 1 Davy Backfight, a massive boat race around the island, the Groggy Ring, a weird game that seems to exist to establish my least favorite running gag in the series, and a one-on-one cage match.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
And in the filler rounds, there's a roller rink race, a version of dodgeball with a list of rules so long it looks like a CVS receipt, and red light, green light. It's just red light, green light. There's also a brief memory loss arc in the middle of it, but I sniffed that filler shit from a mile away. A memory loss arc is always free filler. Whenever I don't have something to do or can't figure out a video idea, I can cuss myself, I think. Hey video, welcome to the classroom. Today we are going to be liking, commenting, subscribing, subscribe and like. But I finally get to do the most fun, breezy, least work-intensive part of the video and talk about how I felt about each of the Straw Hats in this arc. Like I said already, this arc can really drive a wedge between some people and Luffy, but not me, never me, buddy. Him agreeing to the second Davy Backfight is irritating, but since that was part of the mystery meat filler I ate, I don't think that level of stupidity will be common. And seeing Luffy figure out how to throw hands is already fun, but I'm a nerd and I've never been in a fight, so sometimes I want to see how I could use the Gum Gum fruit to get bad hoes at the roller rink. Afro Luffy is also one of the funniest gags I've seen across the whole show, fitting for what is by far the most comedic arc.
You listen up, Luffy, and you listen up good. You ain't your old self no more. You put that boy to bed, and now you're gone and woken up a man. With that afro on your head, your fists are weapons of mass destruction.
So funky! I can feel that jive lighting a fire in my soul!
Sanji, stop that. You are white. Afro Luffy vs. Foxy in the final round as a big homage to classic boxing films is also so fun. Fun fact, Muhammad Ali nearly went to prison for refusing to fight in the Vietnam War, and Luffy would 100% let him be a Straw Hat pirate. Speaking of straight up badasses, I really do not like Zoro in this arc. I feel bad, I feel like I say this every time, but come on Zoro, what the hell man? When Chopper gets abducted from the Straw Hat Pirates and is bawling his little eyes out, just like all of us in the audience, Zoro says this stupid crap.
Quit your belly aching, Chopper. It's disgraceful.
Zoro?
You made the choice to set sail as a pirate. Only you. And now you have to live with the consequences of that decision. A man would suck it up and quietly watch the rest of this game.
It does inspire Chopper to be a man, and that's straight up adorable. But watching One Piece and being with the Straw Hats feels like hanging out with my friends, and if one of my friends said this to our little baby boy, I'd smack him upside the head. What is wrong with you? Be nice to him. But I also 100% believe that Zoro would say this stupid crap. He's a 19-year-old alcoholic who, before becoming a pirate, was literally a professional murderer. And in the same spirit of this arc constantly making me mad with its decisions and then still being the hilarious, amazing, heartfelt One Piece that I love, Zoro is also hilarious in this arc. I'll remind you of...
How'd this happen? The path is gone!
Before we get to our next Straw Hat, literally me, aka Sanji, we have to do some couples counseling. This arc, and especially the Groggy Ring fight, which I will not be explaining because I forgot how it works and it doesn't matter for the point I want to make, introduces one of my least favorite gags in the entire show. I totally believe that Zoro and Sanji might butt heads. Sanji is like the Clifford of horn dogs, and Zoro doesn't seem to care about women in that way, literally at all. But seeing them basically fight like alley cats is just not fun for me. Like I said, these Straw Hats feel like my friends, and I don't want my friends to fight. I think I might be too attached to these characters. What do you think? But this is also my favorite version of Sanji's whole ladies' man gag, and from what I hear, this is a memory I might want to hold dear for some arcs. Sanji, despite his, well, worst efforts, just can't stop getting pulled over to the foxy side. I ran cross country and track in high school, and I cared about it like maybe a little too much, but if a team of chicks had asked me to, yeah, I probably could have murdered some of my teammates. And the cherry on top of this gag pie, like, you know, one of those pies that, like, clowns throw at people, is Sanji and Portia.
Because you get nothing else from me today. Goodbye. Don't make me call Portia.
And this is also where I think people's blanket recommendation of skipping all of the filler here is a little too extreme, pushed by fanatical manga readers who I am obviously not an anime watching industry plant for. Foxy's right-hand woman is a pirate named Portia, the girl best friend that every man failure needs to hype him up. During the game of red light green light, while Zoro is taking the wrong path, I'm not gonna play the clip a third time. Sanji sacrifices a win to save Portia as she falls into the water, and obviously this is filler, but this self-sacrifice to save a lady is one of my favorite simple ways they've shown Sanji's chivalry so far. Usopp is absolutely hilarious as Afro Luffy's boxing coach. One of my favorite things about One Piece is the special relationships between the individual crewmates, and Usopp is truly the only one dumb enough for Luffy. He also, as always, has a hilarious friendship with Nami, and this is some of my favorite stuff we've ever gotten from the best navigator on the Grand Line. She has to lead a makeshift ship in the sea race around the island, where her sailing skills are only slightly more useful than her absolute shit-slinging skills. God, I love Nami. This is unrelated, but I'm so glad I have my One Piece reviews as a chance to really make these scripts longer, because there is always more to talk about in One Piece. Robin has some pretty interesting stuff in this arc as well. She is clearly growing closer and closer to the crew with each arc, but also might be looking for an out, a way to not have to care about these people. But we'll get back to that later. And finally, the one and only Bokuwo Doctor, Tony Chopper. Like I said earlier, I really don't like what Zoro says to him, but of course he's the bravest little man on the fucking planet.
Boil me or cook me alive! Give me your worst, you bastards! Chopper!
But now that we've covered each member of our Straw Hat crew, I'm gonna cover how this arc wraps things up, and also how insanely, unfathomably excited I am for the next arc. The hilarious cage match wraps up, maybe a little too slowly, but with Luffy using Foxy's own devil fruit slow powers against him. In an homage to the Silver Fox himself, I decided to take a slow time to get to talking about the most fair and beautiful captain of the high seas. The past few villains we've had to this point are awesome. Big, horrifying figures like Eneru and Crocodile drive the dramatic tension in their arcs, and even villains of smaller arcs like Bellamy the Hyena make for great antagonists. And Foxy, while he is ugly, annoying, a little hilarious, and has the most grating laugh I have ever heard in my 2,300 years, All of the annoying between the genuinely funny is all made worth it when Luffy beats the absolute dog shit out of him. I think if you're gonna have a character this obnoxious, something like this is all you can do to make it worth it. And I think following up this obnoxious little troll man with already one of my favorite antagonists we've seen is the right way to do things.
Hey, you! Run for it! Look out! Get out of there!
Ice Age.
Aokiji of the Marines. One of the three powerhouses of the ultimate villains in the series, the State Department. Aokiji warns the crew about their newest friend, the woman with a 79 million berry bounty, the terrorist criminal known as Nico Robin. His attempt to bring her to justice is luckily stopped by Luffy, but what hangs in the air is a question framed as an inevitability. Aokiji asks the Straw Hat Pirates how long it will be until Nico Robin betrays them too. Every organization she's ever been a part of has crumbled, leaving her as the only one untouched. But the Robin we know answers him while he attempts to capture her with his ice fruit, telling him sincerely that she's not that person anymore. But now the crew is off to the miraculous port city of Water 7, hoping to fix up the Going Merry, find a worthy shipwright for her, and put this whole nonsense about Robin's past behind us. Long Ring Long Land is the worst One Piece arc I have seen since the quaint bars and stupid arguments of Whiskey Peak. But it is still a One Piece arc written by Eiichiro Oda. So is it any surprise that it's still kinda great? I don't really think so. I absolutely recommend this. I also recommend watching whatever extra Davy backfighting you feel like. Forget to watch the Amnesia plotline, and then head right over to the beautiful city of Water 7. But that is the video for this week, y'all. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video. If you made it to this point, a special double thank you so much. I am back, baby. I'm like LeBron in one of his years. I don't know sports that well. Sorry about not really uploading much. Not my choice. I really wanted to. I've been working on videos in any way that I can. But I finally got a new laptop. Mine was on the fritz. So that's why I'm showing off for my collection this week. You can't see it because I'm using it right now. But you know, you're seeing it in a way through seeing this video. I feel like, yeah, I liked Long Ring Long Land pretty well. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was funny. It had some nice moments. I like Water 7 a lot more so far. I really like Water 7. One of the best arcs so far in the series. Maybe the best one when it's done. I'm not done with it yet though. So, yeah, I've also got him right there. I'm keeping that up still because I'm going to do the part with the blood after this and last so that I don't have to, yeah. Okay, well, I will see y'all next week. Thank you so much for joining me again. Yeah, I'll see y'all guys. I'll see y'all next week. I've got a lot of really fun stuff that I'm excited for. Goodbye.